What's up guys? By the title of this video, you already know that this week I'm talking about top surgery. I'm talking about my true feelings about top surgery. I put quotation marks around true because that's kind of clickbait, but it's also kind of not. So, I mean, just stick around for that. And I promise that an excuse to make another video without a shirt is only half the reason why I'm making this video. Alright guys, like I said before, the title of this video is kind of clickbait. I've made plenty of videos talking about top surgery before. I've talked about post-op depression, went through my process, you know, the first few days after, the first few weeks, whatever. Kept you guys updated, made some comments on videos about how great it's been for me. This video is a little different. This video I'm talking about some of the sides of top surgery that weren't so great. Some of the things that still, even to this day, I'm not 100% happy with. And I just want to start out this video by saying, even though I'm talking about these things, this is in no way a video saying that I regret getting top surgery or trying to discourage anyone else from getting top surgery. It's always important to do what's best for you and yourself, and I'm actually a supporter of top surgery for those who want it. And I'm still very glad I got it. I'll talk more about that at the end of the video after I go through these things. The truth is that I'm not happy with everything about top surgery. Top surgery, at the end of the day, it was a surgery. It was taking a part of my body that I had kind of developed into, and kind of like, it was a piece of me, you know, and it was a change, getting used to not having that part and stuff like that. I'm getting ahead of myself. Basically, I just want to say, I feel like it's sometimes hard to talk about the things about top surgery that weren't 100% great, because for one, top surgery is something I wanted. Top surgery is something a lot of trans guys want. So if you get something and then you're like, well, I wasn't 100% happy with it, then people can come in and use that to attack you and say things. You know, we all know the things that people say about transitioning. The people who are not for it, the people who don't understand, the people who are not trans allies, we all know what they can say and stuff. So that makes it hard, but I want to put this out there and say not every single thing about it was 100% great, and that's okay. I still am glad I did it and went through with it, and just like everything, I think everything comes with its own challenges and stuff like that, especially if you're going through, I mean, surgery is just not fun in general, so I mean, that's already one. But before I get ahead of myself, like I keep doing, let's break this down. I'm going to break this down to 3 parts of top surgery that really kind of weren't exactly what I was expecting, or just are things I had to kind of deal with on the other hand of not liking, as opposed to all the things I really enjoy about top surgery and all the freedom it's given me. So I'm going to break that down to like sexual feelings, sexy time stuff, the nipple, which I'll explain more later, and then just post-op recovery. So starting with, first off, like I said, sexual feeling and sexual enjoyment and stuff like that. For me personally, and this is not at all every trans guy, but for me personally, I ended up getting in a relationship in high school, and it was with a girl, and we had a sexual relationship, so we did stuff together in bed, and a part of that was the chest area. I was always comfortable, not always, but I mean, once I got comfortable with my partner, I was comfortable with the chest being involved in sexy time, and I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of feeling, a lot of sensation. It was really, really sensitive, and it made all that time a little more, like it added something to that time, to incorporate the chest and to have it be so sensitive. For me, it was a big part of sexual feeling. So obviously, going into top surgery, I knew that was going to be something I was kind of worried about, kind of like, I'm probably going to lose some of that sensation, some of that feeling, and definitely, you know, at least the, you know what I mean? Yeah. So although in my normal everyday outside life, going through life, walking down the street and stuff, they caused me distress and problems, and I hated them. During sexual activities was probably one of the few times where I could actually manage them in dysphoria. I tend to disconnect a lot during sexual activities. Not disconnect, but like I have a lot of ways mentally where I make it work and kind of get in a mindset where I can kind of use what I have and not trigger too much dysphoria. So I would be able to do that with my chest, and I was concerned about losing that. So, little known fact, I actually threw myself a little party. I treated them real good, treated myself real good, I kind of did a little stuff myself, had a nice little night, made sure I incorporated that a lot, and that was a little bit before top surgery. I kind of threw a little TITTY party, if you want to call it that. So, yeah, I just want to say that is something, like, I don't know how many guys talk about sexual feeling and incorporating their chest into that, but for me that was a big part of sex and sexual activities with my partner. So that was kind of a hard thing to lose, and it still is kind of hard to get used to not having that as much, and I still have some feeling. It's not horrible, but it is still kind of difficult to get used to that at times, and trying to find other ways to incorporate the chest or find the points that do still have some sensitivity and where those are and stuff. The other thing is, it's kind of like, if I had a flat chest from the beginning, there might be more sensation than now, because it was literally like cut open, put back together, the nipples were like just taken off and sewed back on, so a lot of the feelings gone away, not just from not having a female chest, but from the act of actually getting surgery. So that's another thing. It's not really like I just all of a sudden have a male chest and I'm unhappy with it. I did have to go through surgery to get it, so there's been some changes in sensation and feeling and stuff like that. Talked a lot more about that one than I meant to, so let's go ahead and jump to number 2 before this video gets super duper long. Number 2, I want to talk about the nipples. So losing the nipples was a big thing for me. So I want to break this down to 2 parts. I might put a little thing right here, maybe not, I don't know, you'll see in a minute. But there's 2 parts. The actual nipple, which is the little part that pokes out where the baby sucks from when they get milk. And then there's like the areola, that's the part surrounding the nipple. So during post-op recovery, I remember very distinctly the time when I lost this nipple. Not the areola, but the nipple. And I remember being worried, and I was talking to the nurses, but they checked in, they were like, it looks all good, but I feel like they were talking about the areola, not the nipple, because the nipple, this left nipple is pretty flat, whereas this right one, I have a little tiny nipple, but this left one kind of is just like a flat areola. And even this one's pretty small, definitely a lot smaller than they used to be. So that goes into a little bit of sexual feeling, because that was definitely the most sensitive part of my chest, and that's gone because they literally just like took these off and sewed them back on. So like feelings definitely very different with that. But I wish this nipple wasn't as flat as it was, honestly. It is what it is. Most people can't tell. Most people don't tell. No one's really ever that close to my chest, and I don't go around shirtless that often, so it's not a huge deal. But at the end of the day, I do remember when this, it was pretty bad. It kind of, this is not just kind of gross details, but it kind of got you could tell it was not surviving the skin and stuff. It didn't smell great, and it was just really fleshy. Later on, we learned that maybe the gauze was too, I shouldn't have had it straight on my nipples. I should have, cut a hole in it or something. So, FYI, any guys out there, if you have gauze straight on your nipples after surgery, you might want to either ask or see about if cutting a hole might be better for preserving that, so it's not constantly rubbing your nipples, so they're not constantly rubbing against the gauze. And I think that's kind of how I lost this one. But again, it's not the actual areola. It still looks pretty good. You'd have to be really up close to it to tell anyways. So, not the end of the world, but I wish, in retrospect, I would have known more about the gauze and all that stuff when I was in recovery, and that we could have done something to make these nips a little more pronounced. But again, I like that they're small. I've seen guys with bigger nips, and again, I mean, that's fine, it's whatever. But for me personally, I think I'm pretty happy with how it turned out size-wise. So yeah, that brings us to finally recovery. I talked about recovery in my recovery videos, so I'm not going to talk about it a lot here. But just to reiterate, recovery sucked. It really did. Like, I was miserable for a while sitting there. Again, totally worth it. Everything was totally worth it in the end, but it was miserable for a while. I just wanted to be able to do stuff again. I wanted to be able to sleep on my stomach again. You know, I was itchy from the gauze and all that stuff, and that just really sucked. I don't want another surgery. I'm not looking forward to possibly having to get a hysterectomy. Surgery's just not fun. The anesthesia, the fact that I had to go under anesthesia scared the crap out of me. Like, it's just, it was a whole big thing. Again, worth it. It was kind of picking the less of two evils. Even though I couldn't have like a natural male chest with all the feeling that I would normally have and all that stuff, I'm thankful that I'm able to go outside and walk straight, not worry about the wind pressing up against my shirt, not worry about wearing a white t-shirt and people seeing my sports bras. There was a time when I didn't even want to get out of bed in the morning because I knew I'd have to put on a sports bra just to go outside and stuff, and I'm happy. I mean, I wanted to make this video to say that not everything about it's great. I think it's truly important to be completely informed about things, especially like surgery. A lot of people talk about the great effects of surgery, top surgery, and what it's done for them. And again, I'm not discounting any of that at all. It's done so much for me. It's brought me so much freedom, so much more content with my body, so much more contentment with my body, and looking in the mirror feels a lot more manageable, like not weird anymore, like I'm not looking at a stranger anymore. So again, it's done great things for me, but I did want to say that not all of it was great, and there's some things still to this day, like feeling and the nipple and stuff, that I'm like, dang, I wish that could be a little different. Not very often, but every once in a while, if I'm like doing sexy time or something, I'm like frustrated because I can't get the right feeling or the right place to get good sensation and just do all that stuff. For a second I'll be like, damn, why'd I get top surgery? But then I'll remember, this is right now, this is in this moment, this is during something sexual. You know, is it worth getting full feeling when you're doing something sexual to not even want to get out of bed in the morning? And that's kind of things I had to weigh. And the lesser of two evils was to do this and live my life, you know? I'm still able to do sexual things and it feels good. You know, that didn't take all that away from me just because it's a little more limited. So, yeah, guys, I hope this video kind of did what I wanted it to. I just wanted to give a more overall full view of top surgery and the effects of it and how it's made me feel. Again, those were just some negatives. Not trying to discount how top surgery or how great it's been for me and countless other trans guys at all. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments or hit me up on social media. Links, I'll try to leave in the description. But if I'm lazy and stuff, you can find them somewhere floating around my channels and videos. Thank you all so much for watching again. Thanks for all the support. I love you all. I'll talk to you soon. Stay strong, stay safe, stay you, and peace.